Coming to you from the Hudson Media Group studio, this is Talking Politics, and I am New Jersey's premier and now 10-time award-winning journalist. Top Latino was voted on by the Latino Spirit Online magazine, along with being the weapon of mass disruption in Garden State media, because my level of honesty, ladies and gentlemen, now more than ever, is truly necessary in this era of journalistic deception. That's right, folks, it's me, the generational talent, Fernando Uribe. I hope you're all doing well, and certainly happy Halloween in advance to everybody. It's my favorite time of year, and I got to tell you, folks, again, please party responsibly, enjoy yourselves, dress up for Halloween. I know I love to do that, and of course, folks, you know, it's that scary time of year, so I'm going to let you know about what really scares me during this political season. And again, as always, there's a lot to discuss, so let's get started. Here's what I'm thinking about right now. Folks, it is Halloween week, and certainly we are less than a week away from what I would argue is the most consequential election of our lifetime. You have a choice. And again, folks, mail-in ballots have gone out. They've been returned by voters. Early voting started this weekend all throughout New Jersey. And I got to tell you, as a conservative and as a Republican, I was very enthusiastic looking at some of these numbers because, again, what do we learn about 2020, and then in 2021, and then in 2022, and then in 2023 in New Jersey, right? Whether it was legislative elections or congressional elections, whatever you call it, folks. Republicans were lagging behind in mail-in ballots and early voting. Now, I get it. I love to go vote on election day like everybody else. But to avoid long lines and avoid any inconvenience, even though I'm off on election day, let me go vote early. And that's what I did this past weekend. And we're seeing that not just throughout New Jersey, but throughout the country. Early voting, Republicans are taking the lead in that, where, let's be honest, as I said before, they've been lagging behind considerably when it comes to how far behind they are with Democrats. It's not the case in 2024, folks. There's a buzz. There's an energy. I saw it this past Sunday afternoon when I was in Madison Square Garden in the Mecca, on holy ground, as we call it, folks, right? In the greatest city in the world. And there wasn't one empty seat with over 20,000 people packing Madison Square Garden for a rally that cost the Trump campaign over $1 million to secure as a venue. We had great speakers, and yes, you know, and we'll get to some bad comedy by a bad comic in a little bit, but the point is, there's a buzz, there's an energy to the Trump-Vance campaign. And what scares me, and what should scare a lot of you folks, is the reality of a Harris-Walz administration. Now, I've been saying it for weeks on this show, and I'm going to continue to say it again with less than a week to go. Folks, Kamala Harris has been in the room for almost every policy decision that the 46th president has engaged in. Now, again, he got elected on a mandate in 2020, and again, whether you want to look at those election results legitimately or not, that's up to you, folks. I'm not here to litigate that election. I'm here to litigate this election. And what have we learned since Joe Biden took office? Yes, we were coming out of COVID, but what did the Biden-Harris administration continue to do? Yes, to continue to print money, keep schools closed, keep people at home, and all that did was add to the national debt. We also saw money being given to a corrupt regime in Ukraine. We started seeing the cease, I guess, and desist of drilling on domestic soil here in the United States. We started seeing inflation at record numbers, interest rates going up. Folks, again, just to give you a perspective, groceries went up, cost of fuel went up, people's take-home pay was considerably less, credit card delinquencies have been on the rise, school supplies for our kids right before the school year starts were as expensive as they've ever been. But again, the Biden-Harris administration would rather have you, accept the fact that, yes, we're more inclusive in the United States now. There's a lesbian in every cabinet position in Washington, D.C. Okay, there's a trans person in different, government agencies. We have to make sure we are as inclusive as possible. Folks, that's not what everyday Americans care about. Coddling 1% of the population isn't really high on my priority list. But the most egregious dereliction of duty for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, as both the president and the vice president, has been their inability or unwillingness to enforce the border. Okay, folks, I've talked about it before, and I'm not teaching constitutional law here, All you have to do is a quick Google search and look up Article 2, Section 2 in the Constitution. And it explicitly defines the responsibility of the executive branch and the federal government to enforce borders and to enforce sovereignty. Because, folks, again, sovereignty is what really allows societies to prosper. And I'm not going to sit here and give you talking points that have been, vilified by the left and progressives and all the social justice clowns and woke fools. No, I'm going to tell you folks exactly what's going on. Okay? Illegals have been flooding across our borders. And I don't want to hear about migrants and asylum. Folks, yes, those are some cases. But what are we seeing with the influx of illegals into our cities? What's happened to New York? What's happened to Philadelphia? What's happened to cities throughout Florida, California, Ohio? Folks, we've seen illegals come into our cities, destroy our quality of life, destroy our real estate, overcrowd our schools, okay? Use up vital social services that, folks, should be relegated to, wait for it, American citizens. But that's not good enough for the Biden-Harris campaign. Because let's be honest, folks, it's been strategic to make sure that we shuttle as many illegals into swing states as possible. Because you know what? Just like California, you do that enough, folks, and you try to register illegals to vote and get them to vote, well, guess what? You make them a one-party state. And that's what the Biden-Harris administration have been wanting to. Is it any coincidence, again, that the 6 states that have had so many illegals being shuttled there to, Nevada, Arizona, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, guess what they all have in common? Oh, yes. They're the swing states that are going to be necessary to win if you want to win the presidency. So it's, folks, this is all by design. And this is not me espousing, the great replacement theory. No, folks, that's not it. No one's saying anything about being replaced. I'm not Caucasian. I'm Hispanic. But as a son of legal immigrants, I understand the struggles that many Hispanic families have. I saw it with my own eyes, with my own parents. But like them and many other legal immigrants, what they don't want seen is illegals being given hotel rooms, debit cards, and other amenities that should be going to the elderly, our veterans, and American citizens overall. But that's what's at stake at this election, folks. And that should scare the shit out of you. It does me. It should scare you that Kamala Harris can't answer a basic question without visiting Word Salad City. It's funny, she's the current mayor of Word Salad City. She's basically looking to become the president of Word Salad City. But that should scare you, that a woman who is as book smart as Kamala Harris, and I'll give her a credit, a law degree, congratulations. I know a lot of dimwits that get law degrees. You're not really impressing me. But Kamala Harris is a classical example of being book smart, but not at all life smart. And we've been seeing that with the way she's done interviews, the way she's crashed and burned in them, and of course, certain interviews that she'll only do, which are a safe landing pad. The one tough interview that she had to do, she looked absolutely foolish with Brett Baer from Fox News. Who has she visited exactly? Shannon Sharpe, former NFL tight end and Hall of Famer, on his show. The Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God. Safe landing pads like MSNBC and CNN. Folks, did you see that disastrous town hall last week? That was an embarrassment. This is the vice president of the United States, okay? Just a few weeks before that, you saw the vice presidential debate. Look at what a disaster her running mate is, Tim Walz, and what a disaster he's been as the governor of Minnesota. Look how fluid and organic the answers came from U.S. Senator and future Vice President, in my opinion, J.D. Vance. Folks, the choice is clear. Inflation remains a problem. Interest rates remain a problem. Food prices, again, remain a problem. And these are all issues, folks, that affect everyday Americans. So when people want to go on social media and engage in their usual manufactured fake outrage, folks, again, this is the truth. Okay? Democrats the establishment media nationally and in New Jersey, all the social justice clowns, all the progressives, all the woke fools, all the climate hysterics, all the compassion mongers, okay, along with the alphabet army. You know what they're really good at? They're good at gaslighting you and emotionally manipulating you into believing that 6 hours of a great rally at Madison Square Garden is to be summarized by the jokes of one bad comedian. Now, again, folks, let me be very clear. That was bad comedy, okay? I get it that comedian specifically specializes in insult comedy. For anybody that watched the Tom Brady roast on Netflix, folks, by the way, one of the highest viewed shows ever in the history of Netflix, okay? And if you look at that comedian, sure, a lot of funny lines. We all laugh sometimes. But I was there in Madison Square Garden. Folks, nobody was laughing. It was quite cringeworthy, okay? He made a bad joke. Let's move on. Because coincidentally, folks, on Sunday night at a Kamala Harris rally, George Lopez made a really inappropriate joke about Mexicans. Was there any outrage by MSNBC or CNN? Oh, that's right. When left-wing comedians make jokes at left-wing rallies? Yeah, okay. Silence from everybody else. Got it. Okay. Just want to make sure we're being consistent here. And folks, this isn't about whataboutisms and saying, well, if this person does that, well, then, no, folks. It's about consistency. And that's what the left lacks, consistency. And another word that they struggle with, again, folks, wait for it. It's a four-syllable word I talk about every Monday night on Real Talk via Jersey First TV, by the way, when I talk about the establishment media here in New Jersey and nationally. It's a pesky four-syllable word that everybody on the left struggles with. Wait for it. Integrity. I'll say it again for everybody. Integrity. But they struggle with it. So if you want to make a big stink about nothing, about one bad comedian, sure. The Trump campaign has disavowed the comedian and distanced himself accordingly. Okay? But if all you got from 6 hours of a rally that included great speakers like Vivek Ramaswamy, Tucker Carlson, Dana White, the immortal Hulk Hogan, along with J.D. Vance, Sid Rosenberg, Rudy Giuliani, okay, Alina Habib, Melania Trump, Eric Trump, Donald Trump Jr., okay? If that's all you got out of those 6 hours, then folks, let's be honest, you weren't going to vote for Donald Trump anyway. So stop kidding yourselves and stop lying to yourselves and stop lying to me on social media. Okay? If that's what you're going to hang your hat on. Folks, by the way, again, for everybody that's offended by bad comedy and bad jokes, do me a favor. When you go grocery shopping this week, right? Again, food prices are still very high. When you go pay, right, there's a keypad there. And it gives you options. How would you like to pay for your groceries? There's a few options there. Cash, credit card, or debit card. I don't recall if manufactured fake outrage is one of the options you can pay your grocery bills with. You can try. Let me know if that option's available on your keypad when you go food shopping. But folks, guarantee you that it's not. That's not going to pay the bills. That's not going to pay your rent. That's not going to pay your car payment, your wireless bill, or anything else, or any other expenses that you have. So if that's what you want to hang your hat on, if that's what you want to plant the flag on, and the hill you want to die on, have at it. But folks, let's vote intelligently, let's vote rationally, and let's vote objectively. Let's not vote emotionally. There isn't one metric you can give me that tells you that Kamala Harris should be elected president of the United States. She's been in the room for every bad policy decision that Joe Biden has enacted, whether it's about fuel, whether it's about foreign policy, whether it's about domestic issues. Take your pick, folks. She's been in the room. So for Kamala Harris to insult your intelligence and tell you that on day one, she's going to fix what's wrong, folks, Kamala Harris is part of what's wrong for the past 1,400 days. Again, I have a very intelligent audience, and you tune in every single week, and I'm appreciative of that. But folks, you're smarter than this. In less than a week to go, whether it's early voting, or you're mailing your ballot, or you want to go on election day and vote, folks, the choice is clear. The 45th president needs to be, deserves to be, and should be the 47th president. There's policies that worked during those 4 years, folks. You can't deny it. And I get it. Is he abrasive sometimes? Is he braggadocious? Is he pompous? Is he arrogant? Is he narcissistic? Sure, he's all those things. But I'm not voting for someone for them to be my best friend. I'm voting for someone that's going to clean up the country, that's going to make sure that we enforce our borders, that we bring down inflation, that we make food affordable again, that we have a healthier society by having people in possible cabinet positions like Robert F. Kennedy or Tulsi Gabbard or Elon Musk to oversee government efficiency. That's what we should be focusing on, folks. Not trans people in every cabinet position in Washington, or make sure there's a lesbian in every government agency. No, folks, that woke nonsense, that's not going to pay your bills. That's not going to make your community safer. That's not going to make the United States better. What's going to make the U.S. better are the policies that we've seen being defined by Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Folks, you have options. I can tell you, if you're voting purely on emotion, you'll regret it. You should be regretting the last 4 years. And if you're not, you're fooling yourselves, if not lying to yourselves altogether. And if you are, I have no use for you. Vote smarter, folks. And trust me, when you do, we'll be better off for it come January 20th, 2025. And that's what I'm thinking about right now. And now some local stories for your consideration. Special thank you to John R. Hines, fellow Rutgers alum, the editor of the Hudson County View, and a member of the Pinnacle for his reporting on this story. Now, the Township of North Bergen has announced that they will leave the North Hudson Regional Fire Department in favor of a shared fire department with the Township of Guttenberg. Citing ongoing tensions with the City of Union City, the Township of North Bergen has announced that they will leave the North Hudson Regional Fire and Rescue in favor of having a shared fire department with the Township of Guttenberg. In a statement released this week, Mayor Nicholas Sacco said, quote, Brian Stack has consistently put his own political agenda ahead of what's best for North Hudson residents. But when he attacked our youngest children and opposed our plans to provide them with the educational facilities they deserve, including many students with special needs, he crossed the line and made it impossible for us to continue working together in any way. It's sad to see that Stack's political posturing destroys our regional fire department. But we cannot see any path forward now given his deplorable actions. We will move forward with a renewed North Bergen Fire Department that will continue to keep our residents safe. Now, in terms of what Nick Sacco was referencing about attacking children in North Bergen, apparently the feud that he has with Mayor and State Senator Stack has now extended to pre-K trailers located in Hudson County Park. Now, of course, the mayor of North Bergen said recently, actually, as a matter of fact, at a special commissioners meeting resolution, quote, the Township of North Bergen and the County of Hudson have commenced the regulatory process of diverting an area with James J. Braddock Park due to the placement of school trailers for North Bergen pre-K students and students with special needs. Said use being in violation of the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection Green Acres program regulations. The measure, which was approved unanimously at their recent October 8th meeting, also cites the state statute that, quote, strongly discourages using park space for anything other than recreation or conservation unless it is to satisfy a public need and or a significant public benefit. North Bergen spokeswoman Sophia Kantar said the local legislation is shameful and disgusting since Stack is simply doing this to needle Sacco at the expense of North Bergen families. Well, again, folks, let me just give you a little clarity on this. The town of North Bergen, under the leadership of Nick Sacco, has had years to locate space for their pre-K program. Now, again, before choosing to not challenge Brian Stack in a primary in the 33rd Legislative District, Nick Sacco was a state senator in the 32nd Legislative District, which again was comprised of North Bergen before redistricting, for decades. He went through Governors Corzine, Christie, and Murphy, where he could have gone to Trenton in his capacity as a state senator to get funding from Trenton back into the 32nd Legislative District. Okay? For whatever reason, North Bergen schools didn't improve. Meanwhile, Mayor and State Senator Brian Stack was very politically savvy and went to Trenton and was able to have a new state-of-the-art high school built on Kennedy Boulevard during the Corzine administration, and then subsequently was able to have other public schools built during the Christie administration, and subsequently now during the Murphy administration, a new middle school will be built. So why wasn't Nick Sacco capable of all these things all these years? Is somehow Brian Stack like splitting the atom? Is he reinventing the wheel? No, he's representing his constituents. He's going to Trenton and fighting for tax dollars to come back into the 33rd Legislative District. Why wasn't Nick Sacco capable of that? Again, he's the mayor of North Bergen, but he's also, for many, many years, he was the state senator representing North Bergen. You mean to tell me in all those years, North Bergen couldn't get a single tax dollar to come back into North Bergen to help build new schools? Really? Nick, are you going to try to sell us on that? And now you think Brian Stack is meddling? No, he's not meddling. What he wants is because now North Bergen is in the 33rd Legislative District after redistricting. Well, guess what? Brian Stack isn't just caring about Union City. He cares about all the municipalities in the 33rd Legislative District, which again include Union City, Weehawken, Guttenberg, West New York, Secaucus, and North Bergen. Okay? And Nick Sacco, by the way, Brian Stack is doing what he's doing for his constituents. What's so hard to understand about that? Now, if you want to play this game about separating from the North Hudson Regional Fire and Rescue, that's your prerogative. But I can guarantee you, by joining into a shared fire department in Guttenberg, somehow you have to pay for that, right? Well, does that mean you're going to raise taxes? Does that mean that money's just going to come out of thin air? Tell me exactly how you're going to do that. But again, folks, mayors can do what they want, but it doesn't mean we can't criticize them or hold them accountable. And now let's move a little south into Jersey City for this story, once again, brought to you by the Hudson County View and its editor, John R. Highness. Now, Katie Brennan has announced a bid for a state assembly seat in the 32nd Legislative District. Now, Jersey City activist Katie Brennan has formally launched her Democrat bid for a state assembly seat in the 32nd Legislative District, pledging to fight for affordability and government transparency. In a statement she put out last week, quote, "Today I am proud to announce my candidacy to represent Jersey City and Hoboken in the General Assembly. As a lifelong public servant who has fought for affordable housing in Hudson County and across New Jersey, I pledge to make our state more affordable for everyone." Now, Brennan is currently serving as a member of the Journal Square Community Association's Affordable Housing Task Force and is also a partner at Borrow Strategies after working in Governor Kathy Hochul's administration. She made national headlines in October 2018, though, if you all remember, when she accused Al Alvarez of sexually assaulting her at a campaign event for then Democrat gubernatorial candidate Phil Murphy in 2017. Murphy's campaign in the state of New Jersey reached a $1 million settlement with her in 2020. Katie Brennan has gone to say, quote, "As a survivor of sexual assault, I pledge to be a fighter for those who feel forgotten by their representatives. As a woman who was unafraid to speak truth to power in her darkest days, I pledge to make our government more accountable and transparent. I look forward to a spirited campaign and serving the people in Hudson County and Trenton." Now, Brennan has become more politically active in Jersey City in recent memory, advocating for affordable housing in Journal Square and speaking in favor of Jersey City Ward Councilman James Solomon after he kicked off his mayoral campaign. She also went after former Governor Jim McGreevey, one of Solomon's mayoral opponents, explaining why his affordable housing plan was not tenable in a recent editorial. Now, for the time being, only her and Assemblywoman Jessica Ramirez, who is running on Jersey City Mayor Stephen Fulop's ticket as part of his bid for governor, are the only declared candidates in the 32nd Legislative District. Ramirez is widely expected to run with Hoboken Mayor Ravi Bala, unfortunately, with Assemblyman John Allen not seeking another term. Thank the Lord, he's useless. Though neither has publicly given any insight on their plans for 2025 just yet. Now, the Hudson County Democrat organization will run two candidates of their own, though they have had a hard time recruiting in the largely anti-establishment district that includes Hoboken and Ward C, D, and E in Jersey City. Folks, I got to tell you, I've had a chance to meet Katie Brennan. I've talked to Katie Brennan. She's a strong, very powerful, and uplifting young woman. Can't imagine what she went through in 2018, and certainly she was under considerable scrutiny since then from the Murphy administration. We all saw her go to Trenton and speak at hearings in front of committees in Trenton about sexual assault, about misogyny, about harassment in the workplace. And again, Katie Brennan, to some extent, became a symbol of what was, at least for quite some time, a very toxic culture in the State House in Trenton. Now, since then, obviously, advocates on both sides of the aisle politically have advocated for women and men to live and work, obviously, in a harassment and toxic-free work environment. So we'll see exactly if her message is going to resonate. Now, she's going to be running as an independent. She won't be running on any, obviously, establishment tickets. that are obviously led by Union City Mayor and State Senator Brian Stack, along with County Executive and Hudson County Democrat Organization Chairman Greg Guy, who have endorsed Josh Gottheimer, coincidentally, the current representative in the 5th Congressional District, for possibly a run for governor next year, obviously opposing Stephen Fulop, the current mayor of Jersey City. But we'll see where Katie Brennan falls, folks. She's running as an independent. It's going to be hard for her to raise money. I know that. I ran for state assembly many, many years ago. So again, I salute her for wanting to do this, but it's not going to come without challenges and roadblocks and setbacks. But it seems like she's ready to confront them all, and I'll be talking to Katie Brennan soon in the forthcoming year. Lastly, I want to thank the Union City PBA Local Number 8 for partnering with me during the month of October to benefit the American Cancer Society and making strides against breast cancer. As you all know, since 2008, a professor's quest to save breasts has raised over $63,000 to benefit the American Cancer Society, specifically during Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And this past weekend, it was beautiful weather on a Saturday morning going into the afternoon. I was able to partner with wonderful police officers. These brave men and women in blue greeted residents throughout Bergen Line Avenue, and of course, we collected donations up and down, standing on Bergen Line Avenue, right in front of the Hudson Bergen Light Rail stop. I do want to thank Detective Freddie Aranzazu and all the great men and women that work in the Union City Police Department, and more specifically, with the Union City Local PBA Number 8. Now, I've been partnering with them for some years now, and I got to tell you, these are brave men and women who are dedicated to raising awareness about breast cancer. And as we all know, for over 100 years, the American Cancer Society has been working with families all throughout New Jersey and throughout the country to help combat all the difficulties and struggles that families face every day when it comes to breast cancer. Not only affects women, but men as well. But I can tell you, every dollar makes a difference. Every dollar goes a long way in helping to provide research, in helping to provide accommodations, housing, and other amenities that are necessary to everyone that's suffering from breast cancer. So folks, it's tiring to get up on a Saturday morning. It's tiring to host events. It can be exhausting and laborious, but I got to tell you folks, it's super fulfilling. And I'm proud to do it every year to host an event. Again, a professor's quest to save breasts. You can find the link online via Making Strides website. Again, just do a simple Google search. You can donate online. Your donation is safe, secure, and indeed tax deductible. So again, if you haven't done so already, folks, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Make sure you donate to a professor's quest to save breasts 2024. Again, in partnership with the Union City PBA Local Number 8. And together, we're doing our part to defeat breast cancer once and for all. And that's our show for this week. Once again, to check out all of the excellent programming brought to you by the leader in independent media right here in Hudson County, the Hudson Media Group, please visit their YouTube page and also, of course, like, comment, and share. It takes 2 seconds to subscribe, folks. Make sure you also follow them on Instagram, on Twitter, and also on Facebook. I can't say enough about the great people I work here. The staff is amazing, and they make my job a hell of a lot easier every single week. I also want to thank Executive Producer and CEO Patrick O'Melia for his ongoing belief in my abilities and in my brand of award-winning journalism. And always remember, folks, if it's unbiased, unfiltered, and unafraid, it's always Talking Politics right here with the Hudson Media Group. I am New Jersey's premier and now 10-time award-winning journalist. Top Latino is voted on by the Latino Spirit Online magazine. And certainly I'll continue to be the weapon of mass disruption in Garden State media, because my level of honesty, folks, now more than ever is truly necessary in this era of journalistic deception. That's right, folks. It's me, the generational talent, and of course, the future of media here in Hudson County. Because, folks, you can't spell future without the letters FU. And guess what? You can't spell Fernando Uribe either. Folks, have a great one. Happy Halloween. Don't forget to vote, folks. And again, the choice is simple. In less than 7 days, let's make the 45th president the 47th president. I'll see y'all next time, folks. And always remember, stay classy, everyone.